Grand rising, a grand evening. Wherever you are, I hope you are safe and secured. I thank you all for the kind messages on my last couple of videos. It means a lot to me because there are times where in my life I didn't feel like I was being heard or seen. It was like I kept being locked away, and now I know why I was kept being locked away, and now I know why God put me in a position where I need to be to actually speak my truth. And I can tell that God was speaking through y'all, through your energy. And your energy is very welcoming. I wasn't sure if I was going to be welcomed. I wasn't sure if I was just going to be wasting my time just telling my story and then for someone not to believe in me, because I know that in my life I done some shady shit to people who had hurt me, and it took me a long time to forgive them and to forgive myself. So now I flipped the switch, turn it around to teach them and to teach myself. What we do to each other as humanity, it's not right. It's time for us to get back on the right path. And when I speak of God, or when I speak of Christ or Jesus, I speak of energy. I speak of those who walk in the path of God and Christ, who knows what sacrifice and suffering looks like, who done the work and who been on the cross for other people. Some of us, we didn't choose to be on the cross. The cross kind of chose us, just like how we call ourselves chosen ones. Well, I'm going to call us earthquakers because we come from the earth. We come from the bottom of the pit of the earth. We come from the lower part of pain that nobody is willing to relive or to resurface. Even the people who done hurt us don't want to relive why they had hurt us. So we're meant to come up here to be a lead of example that this is not what you're supposed to do to a chosen one. When the divine is sending you something special, don't destroy it. Don't try to dim it down to an image where you're comfortable. You're making that spirit, that being so uncomfortable, it will shy away from ever trying to shine its light again. I dimmed my light for so long. I'm reconnecting to my roots. I'm reconnecting. I'm going back to my true belief and putting everything together, and hopefully I'm that person that carries 20% to ascend. This is what the mission is to get all of us to ascend, even the ones who have hurt us. We are not supposed to be stuck this long of suffering. Suffering it's not a quick, easy process to heal, but suffering is a life lesson. But I don't see why when we learn the lesson, maybe the universe comes back around to give us a little bit of clue that we missed some pointers. And every time these lessons do pop up in my life, I tend to recognize the energy right away who's teaching me these things, or why I put my spirit through it, because I know that my spirit can handle anything that comes its way. But the only thing I cannot do for myself as of the moment is forgiveness. I'm having a hard time forgiving. Forgiving is what's kind of setting me back, is what's holding me back to my full potential. I could have been up here a long time ago. I could have been seen and heard like I wanted to, but a lot of time I was going against my vision. I was going against the vision of God because I was so afraid of what God was blessing me with or trying to bless me with, that other people around me started to see it too. So then I start to let other people dictate me to govern me where I need to be, because I wasn't sure that if that was the right divine move. But now that I'm listening to the divine in myself and spirit and the right type of spirits to guide me, I know what to do when something is bothering me. We know what to do when something is bothering us. So we're going to speak our truth, no matter how painful or how upsetting we get or how embarrassed we get about a certain situation. I remember there was time that God was showing me a protection. He will open up one door and he will close another. He'll keep doing that until I was safe somewhere, and I'm still not safe where I'm at. I'm still not able to really speak my truth fully without anybody trying to use what I say against me. I had people do that to me. Every time I would actually be open and honest, for fuck's sake, and not sugarcoat stuff or not use anything for a metaphor, I would tell them I'm in pain. I would tell them I am suffering. I would literally sit there and threaten myself for them to listen. I would ask for a pity party out of them, but then at the end of the day, you can't be asking that. You gotta ask the right question. You gotta ask for healing. And asking for healing from the divine source is hard. It's hard because I know that men seen so much shit behind closed door, and I know it could have been a lot worse. And I know it could have been a lot worse for most of us. But at the end of the day, he saved us, or she saved us. We saved ourselves from unbelievable things. And it doesn't matter how old you are, what you got, if you have a family, if you think your life is a little perfect now, if you think your life is a little blessing, it doesn't matter. What we went through, it could have been a lot worse, and we should always show gratitude every day, which I do. There are some days where I do question the divine. Like, what is your purpose with me? Because for a long time, I felt like I didn't have a future. So now all of a sudden you kept saving me when I kept wanting to pass, when I kept wanting to die. There was so many times I committed, and so many times that my spirit and something outside of me kept saving me. There is something that wants you and something that needs you. You have to figure out if it's worth it or not, and stick it through, because you never know the outcome to your situation. You never know the outcome to your future. And that's what I had a hard time understanding when I had this clairvoyant gift, when it started to arise. I'm starting to wonder, did I receive this gift before my trauma, or before my traumas, or after, or during? I'm starting to think it was at birth. But then as I got older, I kept ignoring God. I kept ignoring the signs. Don't never ignore your spirit or the divine presence, because it will save you from a lot of situations. That's what I had a problem with over the years. Not truly believing in what I was seeing, what I was feeling. But everybody kept telling me, trying to manipulate, because they knew that I had the gift. They try to manipulate what I see every time I would confront them about what they're doing to themselves behind closed doors, because they knew that I was connected to the Most High, and I'm still connected to Him. I'm always forever going to listen to the Most High. I'm always forever going to listen to the highest point of myself. I'm never going to dim it down again. But there are some times where I have to just sit back. I have to put this in God's hand. All I can do is just pray in that moment and visualize something better for that person and hope for the outcome different for them. But sometimes Spirit will let you know that that person might kind of deserve it, but at the end of the day, you know you can make a choice to either let them suffer or save them. And this is where we need to come together as a collective and stop letting other people suffer for their own sins or suffering other people's sins that they had no control on. They had absorbed their pain. They didn't know where to release it. I'm that type of person. I'm like a sponge. I've always been called a sponge all my life. Someone told me observe that shit, but then don't take that shit. Don't take that shit so lightly. It's not your pain. It's their pain. It's their choice to let it go or to keep suffering. And I had a hard time of forgiving myself for that shit. And it's hard to forgive. And the best way to know that if you truly learned your lesson is to talk about it. Go over some things. Do some shadow work. Go over some things that you might have missed throughout certain lessons. And see if you truly learned the lessons that you learned. And, the whole lesson in the karma won't come back around, because I've been living in karma cycle for a long time. I'd be thinking maybe it's just me. Maybe, no, it's not. You are actually holding the end of the bargain of other people karma who haven't faced their karma, because karma is energy. Energy can transmute. Energy can move to one place to another, to one body to another. When that person hasn't faced their karma or a knowledge that they have karma, is going to transfer onto that chosen one. That's when that chosen one actually become a chosen one, when they realize they took on something that they shouldn't have. So now it's up to that chosen one to turn around and flip it with a switch, make it positive, make it negative. I can do both. I want to do both. I don't want to limit myself. And I know there's more to it than what meets the eye of being called a chosen one, or being called an earthquaker, a root shaker, okay? We need to come up here to make some people uncomfortable, get them to think outside of the box. Because we've been in the box for too long. We've been suffering for too long. It's time to just let go, because we don't know what's after our enlightenment. We don't know the new road ahead of us or the new journey that's about to partake. Just take on the request that God gives you. I take on any request that God gives me, but never question what He is about to land you. Never question that. You might question, what am I doing? You're questioning self. Don't ever question the power of the divine being. Don't ever question your higher self. Because the more you question, it's just going to keep you in a loop. And my best advice is just to go with the flow. And it's just know that you are not alone, and it's good to be seen and heard. You are seen and heard. You might be isolated. You might not feel like nobody's listening to you, but we are listening to you. God is listening to you. The divine is listening to you. Start speaking your truth.